67 of 69 of Pleasure Explosions.
Nice.
I'm Dylan Blight. Today joining me, Ashley Hobley.
Hey, that's not how we start the show anymore, is it?
No, but I mean, I can start it differently now because there's like an end number, you know? You can say 67 out of 69. Next week you can say 68 out of 69. The week after you can say welcome to episode 69 out of 69. Like, it's the total. That's all there's ever going to be. Know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can.
I guess technically there's going to be 70 episodes because there was a special.
There was a bonus one. Yeah, but that doesn't count for the actual numbers.
Yeah, I guess.
I'm not doing that. Anyway, if you missed the announcement
on Twitter,
the
only place Twitter that we mentioned it. Probably not a great idea in hindsight.
Could have said it on Facebook, but
or on the website.
Look. We are now with this episode.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And for the week where we wanted to announce that the show will be ending in just a couple weeks, we thought, fuck it. Let's just have two of us here.
Yeah.
You know? Let's just have me and Ash turn up.
Like all the important moments in the Explosion Network. Episode 50.
All the important moments.
Only a handful of us. Platinum episode 50. Like, you weren't there. The host of the show. Missing.
How many are going to turn up for the finale? Just me. Or just one person? You'll be doing it by yourself, Ash.
Just me and Bevan.
Episode 69, it's all you. Or just Bevan hosting it. Sure.
Yeah.
Well, whatever works, you know. But you know, it's how do you feel in your gut about the idea? Because we haven't retired a podcast before. The only show we've had go was Grandstand Gurus, but we sold that to Jack for 1 cent when he left.
Yeah. I don't know. It's kind of... I don't know. I think it'll feel different once we stop doing it.
Yeah.
Now it's just we're still doing it. It's just the idea of it ending, I guess.
There's a couple weeks left, but it's not like an announcement of like, you know, months out where you have heaps of time to get there. I mean, it's kind of just going, yes, we're ending it in this month.
I mean, the only reason we're ending it is because of that number. Let's be honest.
No, there's reasons for ending it, but we're ending it on that particular...
For ending on that number. I mean, we could have...
We're ending on that number particularly because of that number.
I mean, we could have dragged it out to like maybe halfway through the year until we work out what we're going to do next, but...
But then we would have missed such a fantastic opportunity.
No, yeah. I mean, the opportunity just speaks for itself.
Nice. Also, I want to point out, I just remembered something. So I had to edit our ad read the other day.
Yeah.
And Ash did the ad read, which you can find at the end of this episode, or Platinum this week if you listen to it, or whatever else. And, you know, sent Ash the script. Here's the script. He was like, oh... And then I said whatever. I said, like, how does it look right or whatever? And he said, you know, I'll see how I go. I might have to change some things. And then I was like, oh, yes, sorry, because I wrote it initially with myself in mind because I thought I was just going to come home and record it. But then we had a busy night. We had to record Platt. So I'm like, you can just do it. So he was like, okay, I'll change some things around. And she changed some things around. And there's one part in it, obviously, where it's saying, we're going to end it on episode 69. Nice, well, you know, whatever. Yeah. Nice. Was written in there in like a bracket basically, and I knew how I would have gone about recording and doing that, and you had your own way which worked out. It's fantastic. I now have an audio file with Ash at the end of it saying nice in about 20 different variations.
I wanted to give you options.
I go to the end of this ad read and it's just nice. Nice.
It was a nice surprise.
It was a very nice surprise. I want you to know I listened to every single one of them.
And did you rate them?
I went through some of them. He was like, nice. But there was the one I picked was the one where you're like, noise. Oh, you need the best one.
The excitement.
You need the excitement. The one going out of that. Yeah.
So make sure to listen to the end of this episode.
Please finish this episode. Good job starting it.
Yeah. Your first step's the most important.
First step is the most important. You know,
it's like
crawl
admitting
before
you have a
walk.
problem. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, wrapping up that, in case you haven't heard, yes, this is this very show that you're listening to right now. Our
Will
original
cease to exist.
podcast will cease.
But it's retiring. We're retiring.
Yes, Ash always likes to point out whenever I say we kill it or it's dead or any of those, I say any word that sounds very
Negative.
just negative. Ash is always like, we're retiring. Dylan, we're retiring it. Retiring's the word, Dylan. Retire. And to be fair, you got it in my head to the point that when I wrote that tweet out the other day,
it, yeah.
I did write retiring.
Yeah.
My brain was like, well, Ash will get angry at me if I write, we're fucking killed. Explosion. It's over. It's been murdered. It's done for. So I think you're going to say
It's so we can leave the option open of it coming out of retirement.
I suppose, but
It's not going to, but it's going to be like real people who do actually retire and go live in an old people's home.
We're not like
slowly
Jimmy
waste
Barnes.
away.
We don't do...
No, it's John Farnham.
Oh, John Farnham? Is he the one who's done like 10
Yeah.
retirement tours?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know
Remember
if he
as
is
a kid-
retired yet.
Yeah, I have no idea either. All I know is even as a kid, I remember from my childhood to...
He was retiring
Alright.
when you were young, and he's still trying to retire now.
Yeah. And then in my teenage years, he was retiring again. And there was one day where I remember pointing it out. Like the second time I remember seeing his retirement tour and like turning to one of my parents and just saying, I thought he retired. Oh yeah, he didn't. And then there was the third time. It was like, now it's a joke.
Now it's a bit
Now
on the
it's a
nose.
joke.
Come on.
Now it's a bit of a thing.
Long
It's
in
like,
the
just
tooth.
sit the fuck down.
Just,
Like,
just
at that point,
someone
is it
take
not
away
just
the
a-
microphone.
At that point, it's just like abusive to your audience that keep buying tickets because they think it's your
Yeah.
last show, I feel like.
Yeah, it's a bit
But-
disingenuous is the right
Yes, I don't like it at all. So yeah, how's your week been?
word. Good, yeah. I haven't been
It's,
getting enough sleep, but what are you going to do?
Well, that's kind of my fault, but
Yeah,
for one day at least.
yeah, at least one. And
we're
it's going to be the
recording-
same next week, so...
Yeah, well, that's the thing. So, what have you done? Just work?
yeah, just work. Pretty
Have you
much
had to do
nonstop.
opens every night?
I did go
Every
to Madman Anime Expo for a short,
Oh, that's right. Yes.
very short period. I was only there for like an hour and a half. It wasn't for
How much did it
me.
cost?
I don't know. I didn't.
much
My
was
brother
it?
paid for the tickets, so
Oh,
yeah.
what was there? Because you watched the anime.
It was like a bunch of
What do you want to
stalls.
watch this week?
Yeah, there was like a bunch of shop stalls, and there was some exhibition. Like they put up some store at like art gallery, like printed out like info stuff and art prints and that sort of stuff. That was pretty cool to look at, like Cowboy Bebop stuff and Your Name. But yeah, there wasn't much for me anyway. There was just like
What were the
like a bunch
apart
of
from the stalls?
there was
what
like
was on?
one stage to do screenings and like Q&As. I didn't know who the guests were. Just voice actors.
Did
that
they
I've never heard of
have
before.
on like screenings of the first episodes of series or anything like that?
No. They did have a screening of the new anime movie that's coming out. Markia Awakening to Bloom or something, like on the Saturday night. It was like the Australian premiere. But I didn't go to that.
My because my first convention I ever went to was an anime one because it's the only convention we have in Tasmania.
Tasmanians love anime.
They do. They legit do this. So it's called what the fuck is it called? It's called like anime something rather. Mental blanking. Actually, I've got Facebook open over here. If I type in the word A, it'll probably show up. Anime.
And no, it doesn't.
That didn't. No, it doesn't. Moving on. So it's it originally was like the kind of thing that was started in a university and they just kind of held it there, the first year.
Yeah.
And then it grew and grew. And then they held it at like the Hobart Convention Centre, which is pretty big. And the first year I went there, they had Barjo and Hex come down from Good Game. And that's where I got like pictures with them there.
Super
And
anime.
they had it's like an anime festival, but they invited down. They tried to combine some random gaming bits and pieces in here and there when they could. That was the second time I went. The first time I went there was when they brought it up here they got to the stage where they were doing it 2 times a year. It's like they were doing the main one in Hobart, then they was doing another one up here, which was like a smaller one, which they call like Anime or whatever North, and they hold it up here, which they still do. They just hold it at the casino up here now. But they hold it like 3 or 4 times a year, different variations. It's like the one big one and a bunch of spin-offs. But when I went to the last one of those I went to, they had every hour or every second hour, they just had like episodes of stuff airing. Like the first episode of this anime, the first episode of this anime. It's just like jump into the theater and you could just sit down. And
like
I'm pretty sure people just sat in there.
An anime theater where they just show episodes of stuff on loop.
And they just sit in there and just watch stuff all day. I remember even the first time I went to Comic-Con, they had they actually had something very similar there. They had like an anime corner set up by Madman running off in their side, the fucking, what do you call it? The thing where they sell stuff? The
booth?
The stand. Booth, thank you. They had their booth there, and then behind it they had like this room you could enter with the giant screen set up, and they were just showing episodes over and over. So it seems a bit silly if they have a Madman full-on thing.
Anime Expo, yeah. There was no screens.
Anime Expo, and they're not doing screenings of stuff.
Yeah, it was pretty small in comparison. Like, it only used like a quarter of the space probably that the Supernova uses. So it is what it is.
So it was just a big market.
Yeah,
it was just a big marketplace.
Yeah, pretty much, which is pretty common for a lot of these expos, at least in Australia. Yeah, I'm sure it was the cosplayers having all the fun outside, taking their photos, getting an excuse to get together. Yeah.
Why didn't you cosplay, Ash?
Next question. I don't know.
Would you ever cosplay?
If I could, maybe. I don't know. I hadn't given it much thought.
Well, it's a simple question. Would you ever cosplay?
Sure. I would cosplay.
Who would you cosplay as, do you reckon? First character that kind of comes to your head.
I always thought
Batman's easy.
Like,
you buy a suit.
Professor Pig from Batman?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that'd be pretty cool to do.
So, mask, like the overall, whatever you call it. Like
it'd be pretty reasonably simple. It's just
the kitchen bib thing.
Yeah.
What is it?
I think it's like an apron.
Yeah, apron, bib. That's the word. The apron. And then
do you reckon we can
bloodied apron?
Do you reckon we can get kitchen bibs on the store?
That's, I don't know if anyone's ever said or called them that before, but
yeah.
I'm gonna try and remember that.
It's going in the show notes.
It's like
kitchen bib.
You put it, I just want to call them that from now on. Whenever it's like I try and make it a thing. See someone with an apron, you just nice kitchen bib there. It's a good kitchen bib. Try and make it a thing, you know?
Yeah.
I was watching. That just reminds me. I was watching Rockamummy last night. Shout out to Rockamummy.
Shout out.
On. Good job. I was watching her Twitch stream, and
Twitch.tv/Rockamummy. ROCKAMMY.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. Don't Google it.
If you pay for these spots, we'll spell your Twitch handle better.
Name correctly, obviously. Yeah. That's a bit more effort that goes into it then. But I was watching her stream last night, and she was playing Vampire. She was playing that. She killed someone in a corner. Killed someone, and of course I wrote in the chat, you corner cucked him. And she was like,
I don't get the reference.
I don't get what's corner cucking. And I was like, oh, it's like something random that me and Nick had was playing a game once or whatever. It's the thing now. But then she was like, I don't even know what cucking is. And I was like, oh, it's which, I mean, if you don't know what cucking is, to me, cucking is just a word that right-wing people like to chuck around when they're like, SJW, cuck, fucking, feminazi, like that kind of thing. It's in that threshold of words that are chucked around.
Yeah.
But I mean, instead of going for all that, I just went to Google, typed in cucked, and took the first definition I found, copy pasted the stream. And then she was read it, and she goes, well, so corner cucking must literally just mean you fucked him in the corner. And I was like, yeah. That's how it works.
Yeah.
So, kitchen bib and corner cucked.
Yeah.
They're the ones you've
take
got
that
to
away
remember.
from Pleasure Explosion.
Yeah. If there's one thing you take away from this show, those two horrible sayings.
Horrible terms.
So did you buy anything? Or did you just walk around for an hour
No,
and a
I
half,
just
look at old
walked
stores and
around.
leave?
But I was thinking, yeah. I almost picked up the Cowboy Bebop Blu-ray collection, but I had some self-control. Yeah.
Was you there with your brother, I assume?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had friends and stuff there, so he stuck around
Did
for a
he
while.
grab anything?
I don't think so. I didn't know.
What's the point of going to these things if you don't buy anything?
I don't know.
Let's buy
Just
something.
experience.
Yeah, but I mean, if it's literally a
I got a
marketplace-
Dragon Ball Super poster for free.
Okay, was that okay?
Yeah.
That's for free.
Free merch.
Are you actually watching that?
No.
No. Yeah.
I should.
Did you
but
watch the
I'm not.
movie a couple of years ago? Like that
I
set it
did
all up?
watch one of them in the cinema. I got dragged
Yeah,
on.
which I can't remember the fucking name of it. I feel like fill the show. I need to look up the name of it.
How about that weather?
Yeah, I was about to say you gotta fucking ask me the words.
ExplosionNetwork.com. Filler. Words. This is why this show is going away.
Probably not wrong. Yeah, I can't find the name of it. It was
Battle of the Gods
was
or something like that.
yeah, it was like Battle of the Gods. Anyways, when they had that monkey dude in it, who was
Yeah.
in there. But I for a hot second there jumped back on to Dragon Ball Z for a minute there because they rebrought the card game back out.
Yeah.
And I got into that for a while there. And between the card game, which was fun to play, and then they put out that first movie, which introduced that cat god dude, you know?
Cat
What I'm
God.
talking about?
Yeah.
I don't know
Beavis or
the name
something,
of.
I don't know.
Yeah, something like that. And I watched that movie. I brought it from Sanity or JB or somewhere like that. Because one night I was in my guff, Good Games, whatever, playing the Dragon Ball Z game. And I was kind of getting more intrigued. And I used to be really into it when I was a kid, like most kids were. Like I watched it on Cheese TV
Yeah.
every morning, like most of my kids my age did, I suppose. But yeah, so I've watched all of Dragon Ball Z, every single season. I've seen it all. I've watched all of Dragon Ball, and then I didn't watch any of GT.
No.
That's where I dove off the edge there. But I was playing the game and like seeing the characters come back, and Trunks is my favorite character. So
Okay.
and I built a deck around Trunks. Trunks is my main.
Future Trunks
dude.
or
No, Kid.
Kid Trunks?
No, Future Trunks. Sorry, Future
Trunks,
Trunks. Yeah. So I built like a deck around his character, and I was having a lot of fun with the game. And then someone started talking about that movie that was out at the time, whatever it was called. And I went to the store that night and picked it up and watched it. And then about 2 months later, that one that came out where they introduced the whole Blue Saiyan thing was in cinemas. And they actually had it in my cinema for like 3-4 days. And
Okay.
I watched it in the cinemas with Sam. And it was fun. And I remember going, cool, I'm back in for Dragon Ball. I'm in for the moment. I mean, I'm intrigued, I'm ready. And then Dragon Ball Super started up, but of course it was all just the dub stuff. And I couldn't find any way to watch it. And they kept being like, oh, the subs, the dub stuff, the undubbed stuff, sorry. The dub stuff will be coming out, within X amount of months. And it took ages and ages and ages. And by the time it came out, I didn't care anymore. And I'm off it. And then I kept reading about it, and they're still doing the same stupid shit like they did with Z, dragging out fights for 20 episodes, bunch of blah, 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 blah. So I'm like, whatever. Maybe I don't even care. Maybe I don't even care. Who was your favorite Dragon Ball Z character or Dragon Ball character?
I guess Gohan.
Gohan's cool.
Seeing him grow up.
See him grow
I
up.
enjoyed the much maligned Saiyan Man arc. I thought it was fun, goofy fun. Yeah.
Sure. Who's your favorite baddie then?
I don't know. Maybe Frieza.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
There's a
I don't know.
go-to,
I
but-
don't feel like the baddies are that stand out. I guess Cell. Cell's pretty great.
Cell's my favorite baddie. But I feel like that ties, it's like Trunks, Cell,
Yeah.
everything that was kind of the same, like, what's that, like
That
season
time.
3, 4, something like,
Some.
it's
Yeah.
all around. It's like just after Frieza, which probably was the high point when I was into it, I guess.
Yeah.
And then by the time Boo showed up, Majin Buu, whatever, and all that stuff, it's
Majin.
like, I was like, I'm kind of over this show, I think. Growing up, maybe, a little bit.
Yeah.
And I tried to read the manga at one stage, but I was like, no. It's just the same. It's very long. It drags out stuff way too long, and I've watched this all. Actually, I'd say that Dragon Ball's a better show. It's only because it's the story moves faster. And it doesn't have as many seasons.
It's got more pervy stuff in it, doesn't it, though?
I can't remember. Probably because it's been a while since I watched it, to be honest. Have you been reading anything lately, comic-wise?
No. I'm so bad. I just buy stuff and then never get around to reading it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I clicked... when I brought something the other day, because on my tablet, it'll have like an total book section or whatever, and it said 1,000. Apparently, I brought my 1,000th comic the other day.
Congratulations!
Digitally. Thank you. I thought that was
keeping the comic industry alive.
Pretty big moment. I thought, I don't know if buying digitally is keeping the comic book. Well, actually, no. Yeah, keeping the comic book industry alive, not keeping brick and mortar comic book stores open at all. Yeah, no, not doing that. Not very helpful at all. But it's like I dive out. Like I was off it for so long. Go back in, but I've been reading a lot more just on my laptop in the last month or 2 months, I guess. 2 months, because at first I thought it would suck. I didn't realize something until 2 months ago. I was constantly thought I had to be reading on my tablet through the app to get this guided view thing. Which did we talk about that last time we talked about comics?
I don't think so.
It's a guided view with digital comics. It basically it zooms in and purposely goes through the panels.
Yeah.
Like in a fluent fashion. Like it's designed to fluently move you through the panels as you go. So you just swipe right, or tap right, and it goes through all the panels. You can, of course, read it like you would a normal comic and have it, zoomed out on each singular page if you want to do that. Yeah. But the guided view thing is actually, once you give it a go and once you see what it looks like, I think it's the best way to read 99% of the time. There are some comics that have they just don't use a panel structure well, or not. Well, it's purposely not done to have a panel structure, it's very over connecting, like lots of stuff happening on the page. A lot of weird indie books do this, it's stuff from one panel's diving into the next. It's all very interconnected, and when they're trying to do the guided view stuff, it works, but you're not getting the full effect of like what an overarching. The whole page has this connected view that you need to see, and that stuff doesn't work so well. But what I didn't realize is the guided view thing can be used on laptops and PCs as well. And I didn't know this until Nick went to show me something on Hangouts like 2 months ago, and he went to the PC view where you can see what he's doing or whatever, and he had comics open, and I saw guided view written there because he'd been reading something on his laptop or tablet thingy, whatever, the Surface Pro combination. It's a bit of both. And I was like, I just in my head was like, oh, I didn't know that was
you could do that
option. So now I can just have it. Now I just have Comixology just open on my laptop all the time, and I can just easily bring up a comic and just start reading it.
Yeah,
which has made me read it a bit more, because I was always like, I need my tablet. My tablet's in my bag. Oh fuck, that's too far away. I'm not getting that. It's that lazy thing of getting to bed. Oh, I could. My laptop's right there, but my tablet's in my bag. That means I have to get out of bed. That's too far to go.
Yeah. So what are you reading?
I finished up the other day. Well, I was like 5-6 episodes behind on Walking Dead. I'm now up to date again, and I was 2 issues behind on Doomsday Clock, and I'm now back up to date on that. Although there's really no rush for that because they've now gone to like a 2-month schedule.
Yeah, it's like bi-monthly.
Which means it might come out by 2020. Might see the end of that series.
Yeah.
Maybe. But Walking Dead, as much as I'm kind of like, I hope they're building towards ending this, which like around issue 200 or something, because I know there is an end there. And I remember Robert Kirkman being like, oh, we're building towards the end at some stage. I kind of would like him to just say, yeah, it's, issue 200 is the end or whatever. Like just to have that end
insight,
to know the goals there, insight, I just want to know that it's getting there slowly, because of course he ended Invincible last year,
or
the year before,
whatever that was, last year, like earlier this year or last year.
So I know he can do it. I know he has it in him to actually wrap up and finish like his beloved series that he's been doing for a very long time. It's not like I'm bored of the series. I just feel like it's reached the point where I need that end goal. With that said, there was a point. Walking Dead always does this though. It's like sometimes the story kind of dips for, you know, a storyline, 6 to 12 issues. It kind of is like, man, you know, it's not boring, but like nothing really interesting is happening. But they just introduced a new arc where they're doing stuff that's actually really interesting again. And new characters are coming in that I'm interested in. But it's this kind of thing again, which they do a lot in Walking Dead, where they introduce you to this other group of people that, you know, like they did when they brought Negan. It's like, oh, here's all the Negans people. You learn about them. You learn about their history. You learn how they've been living through the apocalypse and how different it is to Rick and his people, blah, 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 blah. Which we've just got introduced to all these new people again. And I'm like, okay, this is cool. That nothing like Negan's people, nothing like all these other people we've met before. But again, it's like, okay,
you see how it's going to go. They're going to be
bad,
up fighting.
Right? Yeah. It's like they're going to end up fighting Rick. And if that's not what happens, they're going to... Something like that. It's going to go something along that road. So it's like, how many times can we do this?
So Rick's still
I'm on board at the moment.
Rick's still in the books.
Yep.
Because you know...
Rick is very much... Yes,
Rick,
yeah.
What's his name's going to leave at season 9 of the show.
Not just him. Did you see who else apparently is leaving? What's her face who plays Maggie?
Lauren Cohen?
Laura Cohen, yes.
Oh, well, she's got another show, so that makes sense.
Yeah, but I mean, they're the two biggest stars.
Yeah.
Well, Daryl is their saving grace. With that said, though, I don't see that character leading that show at all. I just don't see it. As much as people love him, he's not the lead character. I don't see how it works without them. Anyway, it's basically Walking Dead's going to be over in the next season or two, right? At this point,
you'd assume so. Yeah.
If they don't end it at season 9, they end it at season 10. How many seasons can you drag it out? Just end it. I mean, I stopped watching seasons ago because it's a bad show. It's ridiculous. I don't like it. But it has to get to a point. It has to be ended. And I still find it funny that if they do end it at season 9 or 10, it's a show that started while the comic was still running and
ends while
then ended with the thing, which is as funny as like Game of Thrones started while the books were still coming out and is going to end before the books have been finished coming out. Yeah. It's like two shows that have started and ended before the material they're based on has been finished. Harry Potter started when the books were still coming out.
But at least
finished
J.K. Rowling can stay on a schedule.
Yeah, J.K. Rowling actually got that shit down and finished. The last book was out before the last movie went into production and all that sort of stuff. So it's just weird to have shows finish and start in that time of schedule. It is really, really odd. Anyway, Walking Dead, the comics, I still think are really great, and I would suggest reading them. If you've never started reading them, of course, it is a big fuck. That's
commitment,
like a lot of volumes.
There's like 20 something at the moment, isn't it?
At this point, yeah, it's like 20 whatever, like approaching 30. It's a lot to read. Yes, I know. However, those first like few volumes are still some of the great. You know, the first volume of Walking Dead, fantastic.
Yeah, it's good.
It's really, really good. There are the ones where it dives off and it gets a bit boring, but you work through them, you move on to the next ones. Doomsday Clock is the reason. This is the reason this thing's taken 2 months. It's the art.
Who's drawing
fuck
it?
Themselves. I will have to double check. Let's Doomsday.
It's not Gary Frank, is it? I'm pretty sure it's a Jeff Johns frequent collaborator.
Yeah, it is. I type in Doomsday Clock and you know what shows up?
The actual Doomsday Clock?
The literal fucking Doomsday Clock, yes. Gary Frank, yeah.
Yeah.
It is. And here's the thing. Looks fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
It is a really amazingly drawn book. There are some panels that are just superb. Now, the downside of having a book that's drawn this well is it takes fucking forever for Gary Frank to put out these pages. And I've seen people online get real angry. Oh, you shouldn't have started it yet if it was going to take so long, or you shouldn't put so much effort into it, or all this sort of stuff. But
that's crazy.
It's a weird argument to have. It is a really
you shouldn't do as good a job as possible.
Yeah, it's odd. But I mean, people just get angry when they have to wait for so long. Maybe these people don't play video games, and I'm more accustomed to waiting 2 months for an hour experience because I play Telltale games. So
yeah, I feel like back in the day, comics would get delayed a lot more often than they do now.
Probably, yeah. Another thing is, we live in a day and age, like most things, between Netflix and whatever the fuck else, where we just intake something very quick. We digest a Netflix series in one night. It's out. People watch it. They binge watch it, and then it's done. They're like, "Where's the next season? Give me more."
Yeah.
Where's the next thing? Same as comics, because you can just buy it on your phone or your tablet now. Flick through, read it in half an hour to an hour, whatever it takes you. All right, where's the next issue? Whereas I feel like back in the day, you'd reread your issues over and over. You'd spend more time. People just move quicker now. They don't want to go back and reread issues or spend time with stuff or slowly take it in. It is kind of that Netflix.
Just want to consume new stuff.
Yeah, it's like where's the next thing? Where's the new thing? Which, I mean, I don't feel like it's the consumer's fault. I don't feel like it's
just the evolution of
it's just
everything.
evolution, and it's yeah. But it's like I always say with Westworld, because obviously we do Bevan World and we get to talk about it.
Twitch.tv/Explosion Network every Tuesday at some point.
Most of the time.
When Dylan's
so we
there.
get to talk about 1 week off. We get to talk about that weekly, but that show I just think would be shit if it was digested the same as Netflix. But people want it that way. You see people online like, oh, I get so annoyed I have to wait a week. A week. It's not that long. It's fine. And with a show like Westworld or a show like Game of Thrones, that digestion time each week to theorize, that's part of the fun of watching the shows to me. And without that,
the analysis
you'd miss so much. It lessens it. And I feel like that it's the same sort of thing with, even in comics, Doomsday Clock. Because when I finished reading the last issue, and fucking no one listens to this is going to care about spoilers. So they have a spoiler at the end. They have like a Green Lantern there. And they're basically hinting at bringing back Alan Scott version of the Lantern, who's not currently in continuity because the whole rebirth, all sorts of
Earth
weird
2?
stuff.
Or
it's like Earth 2.
Yeah.
So it gets confusing. But
yeah,
but that's what I mean. So I finished reading the issue. There's 1,001 questions I have because, of course, it is a comic about Watchmen crossing over with the DC universe, and it's lots of weird stuff is happening. They've finally shown us who Rorschach is by, and I had to look up who that kid was because it's a character that was briefly associated to someone, and it's odd. It's all over the place, but at the same time, as I'm saying, it's great. I went to Reddit.
Yeah,
because I don't know anyone who's reading it, so I don't have anyone to talk to about. But I finished reading the issue. I spent the next 2 hours flicking through Reddit that night,
learning and stuff.
Yeah, learning and just reading through. I'm not jumping in to discuss with Reddit people because I know better. That's not that's not something you actually want to dive into and get into because that's probably just going to ruin your life. But just reading people theorizing about stuff. I know 2 months is a while, and I do wish it was a month. But at the same time, the quality of these issues is worth it. And
it's going to be long term. It's going to be more important than it's good.
I feel than short term. Yeah, but it's.
You want that collected edition to go next to the original Watchmen and look as good as it could possibly could.
On that, so when I was in Brisbane, the day me and Sheree met up with you, when I was in town, the comic book shop we went to before we met up with you, I actually brought. I thought I was buying just the first issue. They had the first issue of Doomsday Clock there, and I kind of just. I don't really buy physical single issues much. I usually just buy stuff that I really like as kind of a collector's item or to hang up. In my house, I had a bunch of issues of stuff I really liked, hanged up on the wall and framed and stuff. That's the only reason I buy physical stuff. So I saw the first issue there and it was $5. I'm like, oh, cool. I'll pick that up. Collector's item. When I got back here, when I took it out of, because it was already sleeved, I took it out. It actually had the second issue in it. So I got issue 1 and 2 for $5, which is a fucking bargain. Yeah. I'm pretty sure they cost $5 USD.
I'm pretty sure I got that same. I bought that on Free Comic Book Day. I've got the first 4 volumes of Doomsday Clock, and it was the first 2 together in the. Yeah.
Yeah, it's they're not the first printing or anything, but still, it's cheap just for the comic as is because it's a premium series. They're $3.99 US or $4.99 US actually, I think. So very good. But now that I've got 2 issues, when I thought I only had one, I had this dilemma where I was like, do I try and buy everyone? Because I could just buy the rest off eBay or whatever, because I don't have any comic book stores here. But I could pick up the rest off eBay.
Yeah.
I'm like, do I try and collect all the issues? It's not like I need to rush out day one. You just pick them up over time, slowly, pay attention, try and collect the whole series. And the reason I'm kind of like, maybe, is literally because the art is really, really good.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of like, well, experience it the way it's meant to look. Like, it looks.
It'd be nice to have.
It'd be nice to have, you know, if I could pick up 2 issues for fucking $5 each time, that's going to help the scenario get a lot better. But it is that thing where it looks good on my tablet, looks fine on my laptop screen, but it's always going to look better when you're holding a physical book in your hands directly in front of you.
On the glossy paper,
on the glossy paper. Like, it doesn't get better than that. So, and sometimes you just read a book when you're like, I need to see what this looks like in the actual page format, in my hands, the way it's meant to be. Yeah. Which is so weird. Because digital comics is like the only thing I do digitally. Like, I games, I still buy physical games, I still buy physical books, whatever else physical. Music, vinyls.
Yeah.
Vinyls plus Spotify is my music habits,
Still buying those Blu-rays.
Yeah,
do you want to go on your 4K rant? Why are they doing 4K steelbooks?
It's ridiculous. It's fucking stupid. It doesn't make any sense. So if you don't follow me on Twitter, at Vivladil, VIVALADIL, I had a big issue with this. Here's the problem, listeners. Let me break it down for you. It's happened twice now. The first time, it was like, okay, maybe the next time it'll be fixed. It's still happening. We need to do something about it. It's a serious issue in our community. Someone needs to tell them to stop. You've got the steel book. If you don't know what a steel book is, it is those metal tin case special editions of Blu-rays that they put out that you see on JB Hi-Fi shelves. And they're limited edition. And by limited edition, they actually mean limited. Like, if you miss out, you're not going to find it.
They get whatever they get, and then they're never made again.
They're gone. And then some of them actually end up on eBay for ridiculous fucking price hikes by resellers. But people who buy stuff just to resell it, that's a different topic, and I'll fucking kill them. They piss me off something shocking too. Interesting. You've never gone through this?
No.
Well, you don't hunt for stuff like...
No.
I remember Force Awakens, as a side story. Yeah. I remember Force Awakens, the day that they put out all the toys. I had it bookmarked. I was ready. You know? I was ready as in I was ready to pick up some toys for myself, not to resell stuff. I walk into Toy World at whatever time in the morning, ready, thinking I live in Launceston, Tasmania.
Yeah.
Shit's going to be fine. You know? Like, there's no way. It's going to be okay. It's not America, where they line up at midnight to buy these toys, and they have midnight openings. It's going to be fine.
Yeah.
I walk in. It's gone. All of it's gone. All of it's missing. It's literally something out of a movie where the shelf space is just blank.
It's and blank, like a tumbleweed going past.
Yeah, basically. And I walk over and I kind of just like look up, down. There's a couple random Lego things left, but other than that, everything's gone. A lady walks over me. Star Wars? Yes. We're all out. I'm like, who brought it all? She's like, 2 guys came in, they brought nearly all of it. I was like, what the fuck? And I guarantee anyone that's walking in and buying, because this is obviously like 10 duplicates of stuff. You know?
Yeah.
This isn't one of everything. There's still stuff left. This is 10 copies of this, 10 of this fucking toy, 10 of this, 10 of this. They've just gone Force Awakens, big event. Star Wars toys have always been popular. They always, you know, price hikes, sell stuff. You can resell it pretty good. They just brought it all and was going to wait a month or whatever, a couple months in the anticipation to resell it. Guaranteed. Yeah. Fucking pisses me off.
Yeah. Think of the children. The children don't get their Star Wars toys.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly.
And also Dylan.
And also me. Yeah, I mean, I wanted to buy like 1 or 2 things, you know, and not even, there wasn't even anything else particularly after. It was just kind of the first big Star Wars is back. Force Awakens, huge event. I would like to be there on the day the new toys went out and say that I picked up something. I brought the Lego that was left.
What was it of?
Good fucking question. I can't actually. Yeah. Oh, it's Poe's X-Wing.
Oh, okay. That's pretty good.
It was solid. It wasn't like leftovers, but like really bad leftovers. But I wanted like a Black Series figure or something like that. But anyway, how'd I end up on this story?
Steelbooks.
Steelbooks, right? Yeah. So
I've got a side story. So you know how we've talked about that before. EB has their Starlight Foundation charity thing. Mm-hmm. I bought one of their boxes. One of the boxes, and inside was a steelbook for F1 racing. No game, just the steelbook.
Come again?
So one of the things.
Yeah.
So in the book pack, there was a bunch of other stuff, but they only gave me the steelbook to F1 racing. There was no game or anything. It was just a steelbook.
How much did you pay for this charity event?
I think it was like $50. I did get a Adventure Time vinyl car thing. That was probably worth the $50.
Yeah. Well, it was for charity anyway. So
yeah, it was for charity. That's more important. I just thought it was odd that they sent this random steelbook.
It was very odd. You've got to track down the game now.
Yeah. No.
I'm
pretty sure I got like a 2 or 3 on IGN. So.
Oh, I think Buddy Watson, friend of the show, just keeps steelbooks but doesn't care about the games. I base this solely off the knowledge that I know he picked up Wipeout, the steelbook version, and then said he returned it but kept the steelbook. So
he wants to make a suit of armor.
I find it really odd keeping the cases for something without the disc in it. You know, it's just it's not the complete product. It just doesn't sit right with me. Anyway, back to steelbooks.
Yeah.
We're getting there. Steelbooks, limited edition things, actually limited. If you miss out, you don't get them. This, of course, I'll start. Black Panther, out last week. Yes? Yeah, last week.
Sure.
Going to JB Hi-Fi. I'm presented with the option of the steelbook, limited edition, which I love steelbooks. And everyone always goes like, why do you want them? They're just tin cases. The reason I love steelbooks is because I just love some of the art that's on them that you can find. They look really nice. I just like them. They're full art covers. They don't have classification systems on them or blurbs on the back. They're just big art piece cases.
Okay. Yeah,
they're
that
cool.
Makes sense now that you say it.
Yeah. Yeah, because when you look at them on the shelf, they have the blurb stuff on the back, but it's a piece of cardboard that you can rip off. Or it's just glue tacked there. But yeah, I just like them because they're just giant art pieces, and some of them just have really cool art on them. Some steelbooks are shit; they just have garbage art on them and whatever. But I just like them for that fact. That's the reason. I don't like them because they're tin cases. I like them because of the artwork. So the Black Panther one there, cool art on it. I think I like it. Enjoy it. $39.99. However, it just has the normal Blu-ray disc in it, and of course, I have a 4K TV, and I would prefer to be buying or watching the highest quality I can get. The 4K disc also costs $13.99. So of course it's like I have to spend $80. Now I didn't spend $80 because I don't need both at the same time. No, I didn't. I didn't do it. And the other part that annoys me is this: 4K Blu-rays. And most people don't know this because, especially if you don't have 4K Blu-ray players, so you're probably not paying attention to the 4K discs. But old copies of 4K Blu-rays do what Blu-rays did with DVDs. So they all have a Blu-ray in them.
Yeah.
So my advice to anyone out there, if you want to future-proof your Blu-ray collection, if you're someone who actually buys physical media, and you're like, well, you don't have a 4K TV yet, the price difference between the normal Blu-ray and the 4K is most of the time not much. Unless it's on Disney or Marvel, which they're the more expensive 4K ones. But most of the stuff, it's a couple bucks, $5 or something like that. Buy the 4K because you pay a couple more dollars. You get the Blu-ray that you can take home and watch right now, but you also future-proof yourself with a 4K disc for when you do want to upgrade.
But you don't get the steelbook.
No, but I mean, if you just in general, my general advice.
All right.
But this is my other problem. If the 4K Blu-rays come with a normal Blu-ray disc in them, then why can't the fucking steelbooks just have a 4K disc in them?
Clearly, they're not selling enough to validate.
It's also just a case that doesn't have 4K or anything written on it anywhere.
So what they should do is they should just have them behind the counter, and then just put the
4K, put the fucking disc in.
Yeah, or just sell the steelbook separate.
It's also the fact that it's like a premium format that annoys me. You know, like it's a premium format of a limited edition collector's edition thing, so you should have the highest quality version that you could watch something in currently, the 4K disc. Now there are some 4K blue steelbooks out, Kingsman, Golden Circle, and a couple of ones that I've spotted, and they have both the 4K and the fucking Blu-ray in the case. Fuck, but this will take forever to get sorted, and it's a Disney problem. And Disney's media problems
so it's only Disney,
like a whole thing.
Or is it everybody?
It's probably well, yeah, I think so, because I've got BVS was 4K, I think. Or no, Justice League, I think, was straight up still. But Marvel/Disney has always taken forever to get on board. Like, they should have been on board 4K from the start, as far as I'm concerned, because, you know, with all their animated films and stuff like that, they're just going to look a lot better in 4K. Animated stuff, even when we went from DVD to Blu-ray, animated stuff was the stuff that you watched first when you first got your Blu-ray player, because it was the easiest to notice the quality difference, because animated stuff is pretty easy just to see how much the colors stand out more and stuff like that. It's just looks a lot better and easier for most people to understand. So they should just be on 4K, and they are now finally. Star Wars is out, and Marvel movies are starting to come out in 4K. I think Guardians was the first Marvel movie that they released in 4K, and now they're doing all of them, and like Coco's out on 4K, so they're on board. But Disney's terrible. They've always been terrible with physical media stuff. They took forever to get on board with 3D. And then they dived into 3D stuff, and they started putting out all this 3D stuff. And I feel like they've taken ages just to go, well, we put so much effort into this 3D thing. Like, do we dive off this and start releasing this stuff in 4K now? Or should we stay on 3D?
Well, they're kind of the kings of artificial scarcity. Everything's is going back in the vaults. You've only got 3 months to buy Robin Hood on DVD before you can't buy it ever again.
Yeah, and then they put out a new special collector's edition 6 months later anyway. So, yeah. Well, that's another thing I actually like about steelbooks. They're actually like limited collector's edition things.
It rewards you for getting it day one.
It does reward you, especially the Marvel ones, because they sell out like hot fucks. Like, they sell out so fast, and you can't find them again. Yeah. I mean, you can find them again. Most of these things, if you want to, you can hunt down.
Not for a reasonable price, though.
You will be paying above RRP most of the time. And it's like once your local store sells through their steelbooks, they're not restocking it. It is a limited collector's edition thing. Unlike most of these fucking collector's editions and stuff you was talking about before, which they just re-release basically the same thing like 6 months later sometimes. Remember when they did like the Diamond Edition collection and all that sort of stuff and whatever else? Even like Star Wars, the different variations, all this sorts. Got a whole history of just making money off re-releasing the same thing over and over and over and over. But people buy it, so what can you say? And I mean, what can I say? I'm a fucking sucker because I'm going to buy 2 copies of Black Panther and whatever else. So
you are.
But my current game plan is I did buy the steelbook, got that because of course I had to, because it is actually limited. The normal 4K Blu-ray is not limited. It's just going to be constantly getting stocked on the shelf. So I'll just wait until they have a sale. Wait till they have a sale or something. They'll have a buy 2 get 1 free, or 50, whatever, 30% off, 20% off. If I really want to watch it, I'll grab it then, or else I'll just wait to pick it up in a deal. But they did fuck me into having to pick up the steelbook and not watch the 4K one the other week.
You had to subject yourself just to the basic Blu-ray version.
I am actually at the stage, I know it sounds really elitist and horrible, but it is the truth. I am at the stage that if I'm watching something on my parents' TV, which is just a normal TV that most people still have, like a normal 1080 Blu-ray or whatever out there, I can tell difference. I look at it and it doesn't look horrible, but I can straight up just go, this isn't 4K. And it doesn't annoy me, but I just tell. My brain...
See, that's why I'm avoiding 4K.
Ticks.
So they don't have that problem.
I'm sure that's all.
I'll just live in ignorance.
Well, there was a stage where there wasn't much to watch, but it's now because I just watch so much stuff in 4K because, of course, Netflix everything that's a Netflix original is in 4K.
Yeah.
So whenever I'm watching a Netflix show, it's all 4K. They've even started putting out movies that aren't theirs on there that are 4K. Stan in Australia has started uploading a bunch of stuff in 4K, even older movies like fucking Spider-Man 2 and stuff like that. And then on my Blu-rays, I try to buy 4K. So most of the time I'm watching 4K
so
material.
you're the reason the NBN isn't working.
Yeah, probably. On that note, probably wrap it up there. Yes, I am the reason the NBN's not working. I'm sorry. That's totally how the internet works. You fucking morons. Oh,
everybody's using it at the same time, and so it doesn't.
Where can people follow you, Ash?
You can follow me on Twitter at Ashley Hobley, ASHLEYHOBLEY. It's a thing.
It is indeed. You can follow me on Twitter at Vivaladil, VIVALADIL. You can follow this show on Twitter at ExplosionPod. You head to explosionnetwork.com and all these things. Don't forget, there's only 2 episodes left. 68, 69.
Nice.
And then the show is going to be
retired.
And
it's going up to the farm.
Yeah,
Just gonna
that's nasty.
Sit on the veranda.
If you would like to tell us your favorite moments from the show or something, you can tweet at ExplosionPod or just use the hashtag Pleasure69. Nice. Do that. And we'll probably just discuss I believe the final episode. We have no big plans. Behind the curtain, we have no huge big plans.
Shocker.
Shocker. It's, as far as I'm concerned, it's just going to be a talk about favorite episodes or moments that we all have from the podcast run, and then kind of go over
Q&A
why we
maybe.
decided to end it, explain that a bit better in the final one. We don't need to till then. Keep yours hanging, and then future plans for what we're going to do, and then go over our favorite moments and stuff. So if you'd like to send those in, feel obligated.
Yeah, feel obligated.
Until next time, bye-bye.
Bye. Hey, Ashley here to let you know what you need to know about the Explosion Network in June 2018. Pleasure Explosion is coming to an end on Thursday, the 21st of June. The Explosion Network's original podcast will play that signature guitar riff one more time as we retire the show at episode 69.
Nice!
If you have any favorite moments or questions or even random topics, it's Pleasure Explosion after all. Throw random shit. Tweet them at ExplosionPod with the hashtag Pleasure69 or email us at pleasure@explosionnetwork.com. June means E3, so make sure to check out explosionnetwork.com for all our E3 coverage and react. Tales of Theldon's whole first season is now available to binge listen to. Is that even a thing? Our D&D audio drama is available at explosionnetwork.com, iTunes, and all other good podcasting services. Thank you to everyone who's listened, and if you haven't yet, now's the time. If you're watching Westworld Season 2 at the moment, make sure to follow our Twitch at twitch.tv/Explosion Network for Bevan World, our Westworld after show where we break down every episode. Watch live on Twitch or find it on YouTube at youtube.com/Explosion Network and podcast services including iTunes the day after airing. And of course, you can find all our other great podcasts, articles, and other explosive content, like What Do You Want to Watch, at explosionnetwork.com. So until next time, keep consuming our content, I guess? What a great ad read.
Yeah. The ad read, that kind of just goes over everything I just said. Good job. Yeah. We love making sure people are aware.
We like to over-explain.
Yep. Fucking audience is dumb.